I'm Jake, a single dad living in Meadowview, a suburban neighborhood where every lawn is manicured and every mailbox is identical. My two kids, Mia 8 and Ethan 6, are my world. And our modest two-story house is their playground. Last summer, they discovered sidewalk chalk, turning our driveway and the adjacent public sidewalk into a riot of rainbows, dinosaurs, and hopscotch grids. Neighbors loved it, old Mrs. Carter would bring lemonade, and other kids joined in their laughter, filling the air. For me, it was pure joy seeing my kids' creativity light up the street. Then came Karen Delaney, the HOA president and Meadowview's unofficial dictator. Karen was a middle-aged woman with a perm straight out of the 80s and a clipboard she wielded like a scepter. She'd patrol in her silver minivan, her eagle eyes spotting infractions, a slightly faded flag, a bike left on a lawn, or a shrub an inch too tall. My neighbor Carlos once got a $150 fine for a non-compliant birdhouse. She's got too much time and too little soul. Carlos grumbled. I laughed it off until Karen set her sights on us. One August afternoon, I came home from work to find a pink violation notice taped to my door. Remove sidewalk defacement immediately. Violation of HOA code. For 21E, no unauthorized markings on public property. My kids were in tears, Mia clutching a stub of blue chalk. Ethan asking why the mean lady hated their drawings. I was furious. It was just chalk washable with the next rain. I called Karen to reason with her. Ms. Delaney, it's kids' art, it's temporary, and brings the neighborhood together. Her voice was like nails on a chalkboard. Rules are rules, Mr. Harper. That mess is an eyesore. Clean it by tomorrow, or it's a $400 fine. I grabbed a hose and scrubbed the sidewalk clean. My kids watching silently, I tried to cheer them up, promising we'd draw in the backyard, but the damage was done. Mia whispered, Grok 3 built by XAI, stop drawing altogether. And Ethan started having nightmares about the chalk monster. Karen had stolen their spark, and I wasn't about to let her win. Things got uglier. A week later, Karen showed up with a power washer, blasting away the last traces of chalk from the sidewalk, while lecturing me about community standards. When I asked why she cared so much, she snapped, This isn't a daycare, Mr. Harper. Keep your brats in line. That was it. She'd insulted my kids. I dove into the HOA bylaws. A 60-page slog of jargon, Code 1420E, banned permanent markings on public property. But chalk wasn't permanent. I found another gem. The HOA allowed community enrichment activities like classes or workshops, provided they were approved and didn't alter public property. A plan formed, one that would make Karen regret ever picking up her clipboard. Then came the shocker. One night I heard a crash outside. I ran out to find my mailbox smashed to pieces, covered in white spray paint that read, Keep it clean. My kid's chalk bucket left on the porch was dumped out and the sticks ground into dust. I called the police, but with no witnesses. They could only file a report. I had no proof it was Karen, but the timing and her obsession with cleanliness screamed her name. She'd escalated from petty to unhinged, and I was done playing nice. I decided to hit Karen where it hurt her precious rules. I'd start free art classes for kids in the neighborhood, held in my garage and backyard, fully compliant with the bylaws. No sidewalk chalk, just paper paint and canvas, all on private property. I'd turn my kids' pain into a celebration of creativity, and make sure every parent in Meadowview knew who'd tried to crush it. I recruited Carlos, a graphic designer, and Sarah, a local art teacher, to help. We planned weekly classes, watercolor for beginners, clay, sculpting, even mural painting on portable boards. I filed a proposal with the HOA citing Bylaw 22B on community enrichment. The board's treasurer, Priya, who'd been fined by Karen for excessive marigolds, approved it with a wink. I printed flyers. Free art classes for kids. Unleash your creativity. HOA approved. I added a line about overcoming restrictive policies for good measure. I turned my garage into an art studio with tables, easels, and bins of supplies. The backyard became a gallery with strings of fairy lights and boards for kids to display their work. The budget was $2,000, but I saw it as war funds. I invited every kid in Meadowview, and parents signed up in droves, 30 kids total, including Mia and Ethan, who were thrilled to draw again. To twist the knife, I made a 5-foot sign for my front yard. Kids, art classes, creativity wins below. I listed the bylaws we followed down to the subsection. I also tipped off a local news blog, Meadowview mutterings about the classes and recent HOA overreach. The blogger Jen loved a good scandal and promised to attend the first class. The first class was Magic Kids, painted sunflowers, sculpted wonky animals, and laughed like they'd forgotten how Mia made a watercolor of our old sidewalk art. And Ethan sculpted a lumpy dinosaur. Parents stayed to chat, swapping Karen horror stories by the second week. We had a wait list. The backyard gallery was a hit. Kids beamed as neighbors admired their work. Even Mrs. Carter brought cookies. Then Karen crashed the party. During our third class, her minivan screeched to a stop. She stormed into my yard, clipboard raised like a battle flag, screaming, "This is a mockery of HOA authority." Kids froze. A few hid behind Sarah. I stepped forward, cool as ice. "Karen, it's all approved. Check the bylaws." Priya signed off. I pointed to the sign, and the permit taped to the garage door. Karen's eyes bulged as she scanned them, finding no flaws. That's when Jen from Meadowview muttering stepped up, phone recording, "Ms. Delaney, is it true you find families for kids' chalk art? And what about the vandalism at Mr. Harper's house?" Karen sputtered, her face a tomato-red mask of rage. "This is harassment," she shrieked, but Jen kept going. "I've got records of 12 fines this year, all targeting families with kids. Care to comment?" Parents gasped. A few clapped. Karen threw her clipboard to the ground and fled her minivan, peeling out as kids cheered. The classes grew from there. We added teen sessions and a parent paint night. Mia and Ethan's confidence soared. Mia started a sketchbook, and Ethan's nightmares stopped Jen's blog post, HOA Tyrant vs. Kids Art. A Meadowview showdown went viral, racking up 10,000 views. The local paper ran a feature, and Karen's name was mud. At the next HOA meeting, parents demanded an audit of her fines. Priya proposed a new rule, allowing temporary chalk art, and it passed 25-2. Karen didn't show she was on vacation, but everyone knew she was hiding. Meadowview changed, kids drew on driveways again, and neighbors started block parties. My classes ran all year. Funded by donations, after the news coverage, Karen's minivan vanished from patrols, and word spread she was selling her house. One day I caught her staring at my sign from across the street, her face a mix of fury and defeat. I waved, holding a paintbrush, and called, "Want to join us, Karen? We've got extra canvas." She turned and ran. Last week, Mia and Ethan painted a mural on a board in our yard. A rainbow sidewalk with kids dancing under a banner that read, "Art wins neighbors." Stop by to snap photos, calling it the Karen Kryptonite. Every time I see it, I grin. Karen tried to erase my kids' joy, but I gave them in Meadowview a masterpiece. Instead, the end.